what's come through in the last 3 or 4 weeks is that he is a very sensible, pragmatic, balanced and decent man. And I think those are qualities that you should want in football. But there is a small difference between being sensible, pragmatic, decent, and balanced in your view, and being an ultimate winner and being proactive in your thinking and changing the direction of travel. And I think you saw a difference in Mancini as a manager than Southgate. I came away with an innate sense of pride about the way he's conducted himself. I think he's conducted himself in a very dignified, elegant, balanced view, and my view on him has changed. I think he's the right man at the right time. He has the zeitgeist for how we communicate with the public, with the media. But
will you win in a major tournament under Southgate?
But my view is that I asked the question last week, is it sometimes better to have a good manager or a lucky manager? In the end, luck runs out. And I think there's an element of decision-making processes that determine the outcome of games that make the difference. And whilst I don't want to purport to get into the technical evaluation of the game, we could see the way this game was going from the 30th minute, and there needed to be a proactive stance to change it. The only time we changed it was when the Italians equalised, which was almost inevitable. It was coming because their dominance from the 30th minute. I thought we'd change after half-time, that the balance would go a little bit more direct and change a counter-attacking strategy, but we got worse. But you look at it and you say, look, is it time for Gareth Southgate to be asking questions from, I just think, imbecilic media questions about his contract? He's got a contract. He knows where he sits.
It's not the time for that.
It's not the time for that. And I also think he's conducted himself in so many ways the right way, the way you want a football manager, a leader, a representative of a modern-day football establishment to be operating.
I agree, Simon, but are you confident,
no, I don't
nonetheless, that he is the man to win you a major tournament?
I don't think he will. I think this was our moment and this is our opportunity, and I felt that forward momentum was with us. I thought that the fans, the frenzy, the state of the nation, the challenges that we've been through as a country, the Italians have been through some of them as well, but we've had Brexit, we've had pandemic, we've had a whole raft of issues, and I felt that the momentum would carry us forward, even if it went to penalties, and it was there to be done. And then you look at the penalty selections, and I find myself perplexed by some of the answers that are being given, because I don't want to get into a territory.
The answers that he's giving.
Yeah, taking penalties, and I agree with Danny, and I will bow to a far greater knowledge, but taking a penalty is a state of mind as much as a replication of a training ground regime. Harry Maguire walks up, takes a penalty and smashes it in the top corner of the net. It's a state of mind. The three boys that come on, one of them was already in the game, but Rashford and Sancho coming on, they haven't had a touch. They haven't got in the game. They've got no forward momentum. Is
that not just pressure though, Simon? It can get you anywhere. It got to Jorginho.
Well,
yeah, that's true too.
Yeah, anyone can miss a penalty whether you've been on for a minute or 90, but generally if you're coming on really late in the game and you haven't had a touch of the ball to actually just get your first pass in and feel the stroke of the ball, the pass into it. If you don't touch the ball, then take a penalty. That's hard, even for the best players. But yes, anyone can miss a penalty. In terms of Southgate, the way I look at it is that from when he came, and I agree with how he got into the job, and I understand.
And that's all really irrelevant now because we're now where we are now.
But what I think he's achieved in a relatively short space of time is great success in that we are now competitive in big tournaments and we have done it consecutively. The draw isn't his fault. You can only beat what's in front of you.
That's right.
And what he's done is produced a young group of hungry players who want to be there in the England camp, and they've got lovely togetherness, and they've brought the performances have got better, and he's brought the country together. So could anyone else have done that job? Well, we don't know that. Was there any other perfect candidates at the time? Probably not. So what he's done with his opportunities, he's grasped it and he's gone, I'm going to do the best with this that I can. Now, okay, we get a lucky draw in the World Cup, we get to semi-final and don't quite get over it. It's progression.
Yeah.
We move forward. Okay, we've had a lot of the games in this country. We've played better in the European Championship this tournament than we did in the World Cup.
Is the team better now, Danny, than it was in that Russia
World Cup?
The
team is better.
Yeah.
And we've also got a much younger nucleus of players who are progressing the right way. A lot of these players are nowhere near at their best. Yes, we've got one or two we might need to replace into overtime, of course. There's always that. But the majority of the squad is hungry, talented, and it's getting better. So next year, I mean, I don't think there is any talk of, someone did ask him about his contract, which is stupid in terms of, he's under contract for next year. We're 16, 18 months away from a World Cup. This group of players are playing for him. We're progressing, we're moving forward. He's the right man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for now, let's just enjoy what we've done. I know it's disappointing, but keep backing them. I think the media narrative...
The question is, Dan, is he the right man to get you to the precipice, or is he the right man to get you to win something?
Well, you're talking about fine details of winning a final, aren't you? one tactical decision, one bad penalty. What you're talking about, I think, Simon, is the ruthlessness of Mancini.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
So ruthlessness.
There you go.
Where the ruthlessness comes in is going, do you know what? My best player, Insigne, Verratti, two of my senior boys who have got us back in the game, they're coming off because they're knackered. And I'm not losing this game because of a lack of legs, and I'm not going to be loyal. Verratti, you're coming off. Yeah, you've been off. Yeah, Insigne, you're off.
Yeah.
Immobile, off every game because he runs himself into the ground, then he goes off.
And even with a smile on his face, Chiellini almost strangles Saka to stop him.
Well, that's experience of a
line.
player. We're talking about managers.
Yeah. Moments ago, Danny, Southgate has been asked a question, are England too nice to win a major? And he rejects that idea completely. But you saw the clinical side of the Italians that gets them over the line.
I think we've got better at that. If you think about the penalty Sterling won against Denmark, years gone by we wouldn't do that. You think about how good Kane is at manipulating touches on him to get free kicks, stuff like that. We've progressed in that. I've not got to worry about the England lads having the mentality to adapt to international football. We're talking about the ruthlessness of fine decisions, of being proactive or reactive as a manager that win you games and get you over the line.
Yeah. I
do agree with Simon actually on the tactical. I mean, we're talking about tactical to blue in the face, but most formations generally impose themselves better on the other one when you've got lots of possession. The Italians had better possession, so but we could all see it. I was sitting with people who don't know football like me, and they could see it. There needed to be a shift, and it was reactive after the goal rather than proactive because we could all see the goal coming. So, but Gareth's going to look back on that, isn't he? And he is learning
learn from it.
You know, he's not. Mancini's won Premier Leagues. Yeah. He's won titles in Italy. You know, like this is a guy who's been there, done it. He's years ahead of Gareth and his experience.
Do you think after the semi-final exit against Croatia in the World Cup that we were saying exactly the same things?
Yeah. I think there's an element of it. We're talking about the lessons that have been learned, but when it comes to the big decisions at the big time, we could see the Croatians building up a momentum. We could see the game getting away from us there, and the same thing needed to have happened, which is change. Now, of course, Harry Hindsight's the best trader in town, and we can talk about the clinical nature of the Italians, but they couldn't get the job done. They couldn't get it done in 120 minutes.
Or against Spain.
And they were lucky to get through against Spain.
Very lucky.
And I look at it and say, you look at the decision-making process and really and truly going to a penalty shootout. That penalty shootout was ours to win because the Italians had twisted and missed first. And we were in a situation where we were on the front foot. Kane does his job. Maguire walks up and epitomises what you want a penalty taker to do, which is walk up and take the goalkeeper in the back of the net. In this instance, he didn't have to because the ball went in the top corner. But I just look at it and I don't want to be in the camp of criticising because we've done fantastically well. Yes, I've been critical, or not critical, I've been pragmatic in my observations about the draw has been kind to us. But you can only beat the teams that are in front of you. And a draw being kind to you is part and parcel of the reasons why we're in the final.
Yeah.
But the moment that we decided to have 3 penalty takers that probably weren't fit for purpose, given the nature of the fact that 2 of them had just come on the pitch and weren't in the rhythm of the game, in the temperature or feel of it, are decisions that are made based upon training ground routines. And I listened to Roy pull up Gary Neville, and he was right to do so about data and all that crap. Surely to God, you've got to be in that moment at that particular time and see who's ready to do it.
To get the job done.
Jim White and Simon Jordan, Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.